all the technical difficulties worked out.
Very good. Good morning. Thank you all for coming. Welcome to the Camden County Prosecutor's Office. We're honored today to be joined by New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Platkin. He's here with us this morning to discuss the results of a very significant investigation, the takedown of a multi-state auto theft criminal enterprise operating out of Camden and impacting communities throughout the region. This case represents the kind of law enforcement collaboration that makes a real difference in the lives of our residents. It was the result of months of hard work and coordination by the New Jersey State Police, the New Jersey Division of Criminal Justice, the Camden County Police Department, and additional law enforcement partners throughout New Jersey and Pennsylvania. This investigation is an example of what can be accomplished when agencies at the local, state, and interstate levels work together with a shared mission to dismantle criminal networks, protect our communities, and hold those who break the law accountable. I want to thank all the investigators, prosecutors, and analysts who played a role in this case. Your tireless efforts are deeply appreciated. It's now my privilege to turn the podium over to the Attorney General, Matthew Platkin.
Good morning. I want to thank Prosecutor McCauley for hosting us here. I just said every time I'm here, I'm jealous of her office because it's beautiful, and I want to thank her team for being such gracious hosts. Before I say anything, it's started football season. I got to just say congratulations to the Eagles, off to a good start. I know where I am in the state, so get that. As a Jets fan, we'll see what happens on Sunday. So again, thank you all for being here. Joining me today are First Assistant Attorney General Lindsay Rotolo, Director of the Division of Criminal Justice Teresa Hilton, as well as Chief of the Division of Criminal Justice Weldon Powell, and many of the investigators and prosecutors who have devoted countless hours to the case that we're announcing here today. Among them, and I want to give particular shout out to the state police represented by Major Mike Flory, who did incredible work through the Auto Theft Task Force, as they have been doing now for many years throughout the state. I want to recognize the Camden Metro Police Department Deputy Chief Chris Sarlo, and I want to thank the department for their great work on this case and their participation in the task force. I want to recognize Commissioner Kevin Bethel from the Philadelphia Police Department. I'll talk more about this connection to this case's connection to just an awful tragedy that the department is still grieving. We received support in this case, and this is really, as Prosecutor McCauley said, the story here from law enforcement throughout the state, across state lines, at every level. And represented, we have the police departments of Pennsauken, Scranton, Horsham, and Gloucester Township, the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, and I want to also thank in particular the Philadelphia DA's office for being here as well. We have 42,000 of the finest law enforcement officers in the country here in New Jersey, and they do work every single day in partnership with colleagues across the river, on both rivers in our case, to keep the 9.5 million people of our state safe. I want to thank them, as well as their colleagues in each of the states that neighbor us, for their tireless and selfless work on behalf of the residents of our states. Each day, millions of people in our states rely on their vehicles to get to work, as they did. First day of school was yesterday for us, get their kids to school, and go about their lives. But vehicles have bigger meaning than just the role they play in their daily lives. When you wake up in the morning and you see your car's not there, not only are you wondering how am I going to get to work, how am I going to get the kids to school, how am I going to get to the store, your sense of security in your own home has been shattered. That's what auto theft does to our communities. And we know auto theft has been a challenge that we are consistently focused on tackling. Combating auto theft has been a priority throughout my time. This is my first day as Attorney General, and today we are announcing that a lengthy investigation into a Camden County-based car theft ring has led to the indictment of 13 people, you can see over here, on first-degree racketeering charges, first degree as well as several other charges related to criminal conduct that routinely cross state lines. The conduct alleged here spanned from where we are today in Camden County up all the way north to Bergen County, obviously into Pennsylvania, as you see represented here, into New York and Delaware. It affected residential burglary or residential car thefts, airports, car dealerships. Cars were sold online, and they even went so far as creating fraudulent New Jersey temporary registrations to more easily sell the vehicles that they stole. So this case would have been big enough given a 13 defendant RICO, but it's also a reminder of how these stolen cars are so often connected to other crimes and other tragedies. The members of this car theft ring, allegedly led by 27-year-old Alex Vargas of Camden, used guns to commit violent acts against anyone, including law enforcement, who stood in their way. And that is what I was referencing, because this investigation linked to the tragic October 12th, 2023 murder of Philadelphia police officer Richard Mendez and the aggravated assault of his fellow officer Raul Ortiz, who as we were working on this case, I was struck because, as I was noting before, I attended Officer Mendez, now Sergeant Mendez's funeral. And when I say these car thefts are connected to other tragedies, there is no greater tragedy than a law enforcement officer losing their life in the line of duty. And so we remember Officer Mendez, we pray for his family and all of the Philadelphia Police Department, and we show here today that I commend the Philadelphia DA's office for prosecuting that murder so vigorously. We are also committed to holding everyone accountable who is part of the rings that would fuel that kind of violence. And that's what we are doing here today. The members of this enterprise are charged with conspiracy to commit burglary and firearms offenses in New Jersey related to those crimes, as the murder is being prosecuted again by the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office. Officer Mendez was shot to death in a parking garage at Philadelphia International Airport that evening, not long after he and Officer Ortiz began their shift. It wasn't a shift like any other, but that is the risk that every officer in our state and across this country takes every single day to do the selfless work that they do on behalf of our residents. They go towards danger, not away from it. And they confronted a group of people breaking into a vehicle inside of that parking garage. Gunfire erupted, and when it was over, Officer Mendez, a 22-year veteran of the police force, was dead, and Officer Ortiz was injured. And for what? So that this crew could profit off a stolen car. So I hope today's indictment and the great work done by the men and women behind me and throughout this room and across our state, let it be a reminder that anyone who engages in this kind of conduct will be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. These are first-degree charges. And as Director Hilton will lay out, they carry significant potential prison sentences. Thanks to the hard work of the Division of Criminal Justice and our Auto Theft Task Force, led by the State Police, and our many partners in law enforcement, we have seen a significant reduction in auto thefts, down 11% last year, and this year we're down another 7%. This decrease is promising, but we know that thanks to rings like these, and they are organized rings operating throughout our state and throughout the region, auto theft continues to remain a priority and a significant industry unto itself. So our efforts don't stop today. They will continue to take down every criminal enterprise engaged in this conduct throughout our communities. And again, we know, and our data bears this out, that these auto thefts are increasingly linked to other violent crimes. But again, we have made significant progress in our state. Shootings for 2 years running have been at all-time lows. Until 2 years ago, we had never been below 1,000 people shot in the state of New Jersey. Last year, we were below 800, and this year, we are 25% below where we were last year at this time. We are 35% below where we were last year in terms of fatal shootings. I don't know who these folks are whose lives have been spared thanks to the work of these men, but there are hundreds, literally, of families today statistically that are intact and celebrating a start of a new school year. and not mourning a lost loved one. But again, we know there is more to do. So we're going to continue to invest, as we have in this state, in technology like our license plate reader technology, which saves lives and helps us prosecute crimes. We're going to continue to invest in our auto theft task force, which does the type of work that we're doing here today to bring large cases against organized rings. We're going to work to increase awareness for folks so that they understand the risks of leaving their key fobs in their car, something that I have to say we've made great progress on. And we're going to continue to use the new tools given to law enforcement, like the legislation Governor Murphy signed last year to create new significant penalties for residential burglaries in our state. And we've seen a significant decline in burglaries since those laws came into effect. We know that these penalties will affect and deter future criminal conduct. These criminals are opportunists. We've seen it in this case, we see it in too many others. They rely on that brief window of time when owners let their guards down. So again, I'm urging every driver in this state to take necessary precautions. But no, if you're engaged in this conduct, the folks behind me and throughout this state are going to do everything they can in every city and every county and every community in our state and indeed throughout this region to hold you accountable to the fullest extent of the law. I want to once again thank our law enforcement partners across the state as well as in Pennsylvania. Without their tremendous efforts and without the coordination, which we see day in and day out, these charges and cases like these simply wouldn't happen. Again, that's the New Jersey State Police, the Camden County Metro Police Department, the New Jersey Division of Criminal Justice, who is the prosecution agency on this case, the Philadelphia Police Department Homicide Unit, Pennsylvania State Police, and their Auto Theft Task Force. And I connected this morning with Governor Shapiro, and I thank Governor and Attorney General Sunday for their great partnership. The Scranton Police Department, the Pennsauken Police Department, the Camden County Prosecutor's Office, Horsham PD, Gloucester Township Police Department, the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, the Philadelphia DA's Office. It takes a village. It's now my honor to turn the podium over to the Director of the Division of Criminal Justice, Teresa Hilton. Sorry, thank you.
Good morning, and thank you very much, General Platkin. As you heard from General Platkin, we are here today to announce the takedown of a multi-state criminal enterprise responsible for a large-scale auto theft operation spanning nearly 3 years. This was not just a ring of opportunistic thieves. This was an organized, calculated, and highly coordinated enterprise motivated by profit and at the expense of public safety. Beginning in July of 2021 and continuing through January of 2024, this criminal network operated throughout New Jersey, striking communities in Camden County, Burlington County, Somerset County, Bergen County, Union County, Mercer County, and Essex County, as well as out of state in Pennsylvania, New York, and Delaware. At the center of this operation were Alex Vargas and his brother Alexi Vargas, the enterprise's alleged ringleaders, along with Albert Santana Fernandez, the alleged enforcer and theft coordinator. This enterprise was organized and had a specific method of operation. Alex and Alexi would allegedly research and pick high-value targets to steal, typically Jeep Grand Cherokees, Dodge Chargers, Durangos, and Ram trucks, from private residences as well as car dealerships and airport parking lots. Albert Santana Fernandez would then allegedly organize the theft crews to steal the vehicles. The theft crew consisted of 10 individuals, whom you can see on the chart to the side. They would often operate in smaller crews of 4 to 6 people working together to steal cars in batches. They would use tools like wrenches, bolt cutters, and screwdrivers to break into vehicles. They would then use key reprogramming devices to drive them away, typically back to Camden County, where the cars would be stripped of their identities and listed for sale via social media and encrypted messaging apps. Each of the individuals in this enterprise had specialized roles, from the people who conducted research and scouted vehicles, to those who revinned them, created fake registrations, and those who tried to resell them. To give you a sense of the scale of this enterprise, it has been linked to 41 stolen vehicles. Let me be clear, this wasn't just about stolen cars. These individuals were armed, dangerous, and willing to commit violence to complete their thefts. Some of the defendants used firearms to commit violent acts against anyone, including law enforcement, that tried to interfere with their crimes. 10 of the 13 enterprise members face weapons charges. Their petty greed had dire consequences. As has already been mentioned, on October 12, 2023, 3 members of this enterprise were involved in the homicide of Philadelphia police officer Richard Mendez and the shooting of Officer Raul Ortiz. This disregard for human life is a stark reminder that violent theft crews use deadly force, and their actions pose a grave threat to the communities that they touch. All defendants in this case were charged with first-degree racketeering, for which they face 10 to 20 years in state prison, subject to the No Early Release Act, and a fine up to $500,000. The defendants also face a variety of other charges, including promoting organized street crime, conspiracy, theft charges, and weapons offenses. First-degree charges can result in 10 to 20 years in state prison and a fine up to $200,000. Second-degree charges can result in 5 to 10 years in state prison and a fine up to $150,000. And third-degree charges can result in 3 to 5 years in state prison and a fine up to $15,000. Yobrani Martinez Fernandez, Alexander Batista Polanco, and Hendrik Pena Fernandez were charged with the murder of Officer Mendez and the aggravated assault of Officer Ortiz by the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office, who are handling the prosecution of that case. This case highlights the success law enforcement agencies can achieve by working together across state and county lines to dismantle operations of this scale and brutality. I want to thank all of our partners who made this possible, many of whom are standing with us today, and I know they've been mentioned, but one of the most impressive attributes of this is how so many law enforcement agencies got together to understand the breadth of what this network was doing and make sure that we investigated it and are able to prosecute it comprehensively. So with that, I want to thank the New Jersey State Police, the Camden County Police Department, Philadelphia Police Department, Pennsylvania State Police Auto Theft Task Force, Scranton Police Department, Pennsauken Police Department, Camden County Prosecutor's Office, Horsham Police Department, Gloucester Township Police Department, Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, and the Pennsylvania District Attorney's Office. Their dedication and cooperation were essential to bringing this enterprise down. And I would also like to specifically thank New Jersey State Police Task Force Officer Detective Michael Murtha of the Camden County Police Department and Detective Jessica Marcacci of the New Jersey Division of Criminal Justice, who were the main case agents. I would also like to recognize Deputy Attorneys General David Ringlaben, Joe Giordano, Jenna Sitnikova, Deputy Chief Veronica Daddario, and Bureau Chief Cassandra Montalto for their work on this case. Let this takedown be a warning. If you profit from crime in New Jersey, we will find you and we will prosecute you to the full extent of the law. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Hilton. As has been noted several times, these cases involve partnerships. I wish we could let every one of our partners speak, but we would probably be here until next Sunday. So we're going to have 2 of our partners who have been incredible contributors to these cases and so many others. First, from the State Police, Major Mike Flory.
Good morning. Thank you, Attorney General Placken, First Assistant Rotolo, Director Hilton, Prosecutor McCauley, and distinguished guests. My name is Major Michael Flory. I serve as the Deputy Branch Commander for the New Jersey State Police Investigations Branch. On behalf of Colonel Callahan, Lieutenant Colonel Phil Buck, I want to thank you for being here today and for allowing me the opportunity to provide remarks. As been stated, we stand before you to announce the results of a highly successful investigation that dismantled a violent and organized motor vehicle theft enterprise operating throughout the tri-state area. This investigation was conducted by New Jersey State Police, Motor Vehicle Crime South Auto Task Force, the Camden County Prosecutor's Office, the Camden County Metro Police Department, Division of Criminal Justice, and our dedicated partners at the local, county, and state level, as well as our partners from the Pennsylvania area, Philadelphia Police Department, Philadelphia District Attorney's Office, Pennsylvania State Police, Horsham Police Department, and Scranton Police Department. Through extensive intelligence analysis, surveillance, and other investigative techniques, our detectives learned that between July 2021 and January 2024, This organization was responsible for stealing vehicles across New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, and Delaware. These stolen vehicles were trafficked throughout the region, generating substantial illegal profits for the organization, which operated very much like a business. The enterprise, as we've mentioned, was led by Alexis Vargas and his brother, Alexei Vargas, and they targeted high-demand vehicles such as Jeep Grand Cherokees, Dodge Chargers, Dodge Durangos, and Ram trucks. They identified dealerships, airports, and other vulnerable locations, then dispatched theft crews to carry out their crimes. Over the course of this investigation, the enterprise was linked to the theft or possession of 41 stolen vehicles, with multiple cars taken in a single night. As was stated, this was not simply a group stealing cars. They were violent offenders that used violence to protect and advance their criminal enterprise. During this investigation, they were linked to a shooting in Winslow Township, New Jersey in September of 2023. And even more tragically, as has been mentioned, members of this organization were tied to the October 12th, 2023 murder of Philadelphia police officer Richard Mendez and the aggravated assault of Officer Raul Ortiz while they were trying to steal a vehicle at the Philadelphia airport. The death of a law enforcement officer is not just a loss for one department or one city. It is a loss felt across the entire profession. When an officer is killed in the line of duty, every badge grows heavier, every family feels the void, and every community is reminded of the sacrifices made by those who choose to serve. The murder of Officer Mendez was not just an attack on one individual, it was an attack on all of us who wear this uniform on the very principles of safety and justice we are sworn to uphold. Our thoughts and prayers remain with the Mendez family. While no investigation can undo their loss, we hope today's announcement brings some measure of peace, knowing that those responsible are being brought to justice. This case is far from over. While indictments have been secured and suspects are in custody, our work continues to ensure successful prosecutions and maximum accountability for those involved. As has been stated, this investigation underscores the power of collaboration and partnership. By sharing intelligence, pooling resources, and standing shoulder to shoulder, law enforcement agencies across this jurisdiction dismantled a dangerous organization that posed a direct threat to public safety. The message is clear. Our communities deserve to live free from the threat of violence, and we will use every tool at our disposal to ensure those who endanger the safety are stopped and held responsible. Finally, I'd like to extend my deepest gratitude to the three case agents, Detective Murtha from the Camden County Prosecutor's Office, Investigator Marcucci from Division of Criminal Justice, and Detective Sergeant O'Rourke from the State Police, as well as every law enforcement officer, trooper, investigator, prosecutor, and analyst involved in this case. Your professionalism, commitment, and determination made today's success possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Major. Very powerfully said. Now, last but certainly not least, it's my pleasure to introduce Camden Metro Police Department Deputy Chief Chris Sarlo.
Thanks, sir. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to speak today on behalf of Chief Rodriguez and the Camden County Police Department. I wanted to thank, obviously, Detective Michael Murtha for his involvement in this case, being the case agent, as well as everybody else who participated in this. And I'd like to formally state that although this is a motor vehicle theft ring that was taken down, it led to numerous other indictments, and they were involved in numerous other violent crimes. When someone steals a motor vehicle, it is not just, as the Attorney General said, a motor vehicle theft. It's depriving them of their way to get to work, to provide for their families, to enjoy extracurricular activities with their families as well. So this was not just about motor vehicle thefts. This was not just about solving these crimes, but bringing peace to the state of New Jersey and other states. This motor vehicle theft ring operated in Camden County, as well as other agencies throughout the state. It also extended to New York, Delaware, and Pennsylvania, which everybody who speak before me has described what has happened. The work that Detective Murtha did and his colleagues is second to none and is extremely I'm extremely proud to say what work has been done. When law enforcement agencies throughout the state, throughout the counties, throughout different states come together, it's extremely impressive to see what's been done and what can be accomplished. With all the agencies that have been mentioned leveraging the resources and coming together for one shared common goal, we've seen that we can produce the desired result. And the desired result is dismantling of a criminal enterprise. And this criminal enterprise was responsible, as everybody has stated, for 41 motor vehicle thefts and other violent crimes that they've profited from. I don't want to take up too much of everybody's time because everybody else has said everything that I planned to say. But again, thank you to everybody in this room. Thank you to all the investigators that contributed to this. And thank you to the Attorney General for allowing me to speak on behalf of the Camden County Police Department and Chief Rodriguez.
Thank you. We thank Chief Rodriguez as well as all the officers there. I just want to underscore two things. First, and again, this case is a big case, and it involves an awful tragedy across the river, and we continue to pray for the families affected. And second, we talk about task forces a lot, and one of the first things we did 3.5 years ago was substantially expand our auto theft task force and go throughout the state and ask our partners in law enforcement at the local level to join our task force and have meetings with our partners across the river. And why do we do that? It's so that we can link a vehicle stolen in Scranton to a vehicle stolen in Camden to a vehicle stolen in Bergen County or Essex County to potentially to a shooting in Philadelphia that involved a law enforcement officer, so that we're sharing information and we're not missing anything. And that we can hold people accountable to the fullest extent of the law. You don't get to first-degree racketeering charges without that type of information sharing and collaboration. So I know sometimes it can get lost in the sauce when you start talking about task forces and alphabet soups and everything. This is why we do it. And I'm really proud of the collaboration we have in this state and with our partners across state lines that resulted in today's case and so many others that we bring and that these fine officers work every day to bring every single day. With that, I'm happy to take some questions.
A couple things. First, this is the second multi-state vehicle theft ring you've announced in the last couple of years. The other ones were shipping out of seas. These were here. There have been probably in between when these were occurring, there were also a number of these things that happened in Haddonfield. And I haven't seen it come up once, but the police chief had said at the time that those were told by people in higher levels of law enforcement to have been connected to multi-state operators. Do you have any information about whether some of those, because these were the kinds of things you're talking about, people breaking into homes to take key fobs, juvenile members of gang rings being made to be put in front of, potentially facing the brunt because they're underage. Any of that connected to any of this, or is that still another investigation?
I'll let the director comment on specifics. Without going into any ongoing investigations, every auto theft we take seriously, and that's why I said those numbers: 11% reduction last year, 7% this year, dramatic reductions in high-end auto theft, which we know was a target for shipping overseas over the past couple of years. Director, is there anything you want to share specifically about Haddonfield?
No, I don't have anything specific about Haddonfield. I mean, we are, as you can tell from the last two announcements, we're putting a lot of work into identifying these groups and trying to make as much bang for the buck as we can with the resources we have. So I can't speak to any specific investigation. There are other ongoing investigations. It's possible that it is included in those.
Thank you. Can I just ask a follow-up?
Sure.
Why Dodges? Did they have a specific access to the rekeying process for Dodges? These are all Dodge vehicles mostly.
I think it's just a high value, like people want it.
Yeah, I don't have anything specific on that. We've seen with certain brands before where we have not only gone on the criminal side, but I've gone to the heads of the companies and gotten them to change some of the security vulnerabilities of cars. We saw that specifically with Kia and Hyundais. I don't have anything specific in this case. But obviously, we pay close attention, and the investigators on the task force pay close attention to emerging trends in the vehicles. And as I noted, one of the trends we've seen is a substantial reduction in high-end vehicle theft over the past couple of years. Yes?
Do you believe that do you think that this is the entire theft ring for this case? Could there be more? Also, are these 13 suspects currently in custody?
So to answer your first question, we do believe so, though if anybody has other information, we always welcome them to reach out to law enforcement, encourage them to do so, and we will track down anybody else potentially involved. As of the latest, are they all?
They are current.
Go ahead.
They are currently detained. There are several that are pending detention hearings where we have moved to detain them, but ultimately it will be the judge's decision whether or not they remain detained.
When were they all taken into custody?
Some of them, I can give you specific dates offline because there's 13 of them. Several of them were already in custody because they were linked to other criminal conduct. I believe there were 6 that were taken into custody at the conclusion of this indictment, and those are all pending detention hearings. Yes.
Yes.
What's the relation between all of them? Are they family members? How did this group come to be? Do they have a name? How much money were they making?
So the 2 alleged leaders are brothers, and the others are associates. Do you have anything we can share? Unfortunately, given the ongoing nature of the investigation, we can't share beyond that associational.
And do you think there's likely more than 41 cars that they were stealing, or is it only 41 that you were actually able to pinpoint? And were they ever shipping these cars overseas, or are they only selling them online?
We know they were allegedly selling them online, and we know that at least 41 of the vehicles are stolen. Obviously, the investigation remains ongoing, and we can't rule out that there are additional vehicles. The value just of those 41 exceeds $1 million. And I think when you think about auto thefts generally, how we've tackled this problem, these thefts are often driven by organized rings like this one. So a single ring can be involved in dozens and dozens of auto thefts. So when you take down a significant operation like this one, that is how you drive those numbers down in significant ways. Yes.
Did this come to your attention with the murder of the officer, or did you realize there was this criminal enterprise stealing cars and then link it back to the murder?
So this investigation started before the homicide. So I don't know. I think that is the answer to the question. We knew we were investigating this operation. It was not in a position where we could charge it, but we did start the investigation before the homicide.
So it's on your radar?
Some of them, yes.
Yes.
Question for Commissioner Bethel, possible?
It's press conference, man.
I won't. You have the right to say no here. Is this?
Depending on what the question is.
Is there any solace knowing that this investigation has been taken down after your officer has passed, knowing that maybe he has kind of helped in his passing with this investigation?
Well, first, the opportunity to stand up here was not scheduled to speak, but first I just want to say thank you. Yeah, thank all of you for your hard work. I know the DA's office, all of you, who helped during the aftermath of his death, and most importantly, continuing that in this investigation through. It's a real moment yesterday. I was with Officer Mendez's work. His daughter works in our office in our communication, and the other day she gave me his band with his badge number on it. You know, and we shared with her that this indictment, you know, the Pope has shared with him, with her and her mother, that this indictment was coming, and they were excited about understanding. I won't say excited, but just acknowledging that I always constantly say this work matters. That the work we do matters. I say that to my men and women all the time. You know, and that, you know, these officers don't give their lives in vain. And so when we see this type of response after the loss of our officer, we're grateful. There'll never be solace. We'll be starting the trial the next month, in November, I think in November. And so we still have a journey to go. But the fact that this group of individuals in this room will put the sheer effort, I mean, the major marks were just spot on. You know, yeah, that we're appreciative of the support. We're appreciative of how you value our men and women. And so we take this and we lift this up today. But we also understand that this work matters. And when you see these connections, I think the AG talked about these connections. What starts out as one thing and how it ultimately leads to others. What I've liked, this group had been taken down before we lost our officer. Yeah. But who else? What are the other lives we saved, and as the AG had mentioned? So I don't know if I answered your question, but that's where I'm at today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
The 3 folks who are charged, I'm not again heard the names, but there's a lot of
Do you wanna-
names over there.
Yeah.
It was Mr. Martinez Fernandez, Batista Palenko, and Pena Fernandez, and Hendricks.
Okay. And then there was mention of a shooting in September in Winslow. Do you have any more information on that?
I don't have any more information that I can share. It was another underlying violent act committed by this group that was non-fatal, thankfully.
Which of the people involved was charged?
What was that?
One of the Vargas brothers.
One of the Vargas
Okay,
brothers.
thank you.
Last,
You said it was operating from July 2021 to January 2024?
yes.
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 After the killing of Officer Mendez, did they stop operating? Did they continue stealing cars? Did they kind of realize that you all were on there
Yeah.
harassing?
Yeah, beyond the dates, unfortunately, I can't share beyond that. But look, what happened with Officer Mendez was an unspeakable tragedy. And as has been said, when you look at the sacrifices our officers make every single day, I know in my 4 years I've had to deal with more conversations with family members who have lost loved ones in the line of duty than I would like. And when you deal with one of those, you probably never want to do it again. And it motivates you. And I can speak certainly for every officer involved here that it motivated them. And I'm really proud of the work that they did to bring these individuals to justice. I want to once again thank the entire law enforcement community in New Jersey, in Pennsylvania, and in our other neighboring states for the work done in this case and on so many others that are resulting in those numbers going down. Remember, those numbers are not statistics on a page. They are lives that are being affected. And let's never lose sight of that. I thank them for their service. I thank the Division of Criminal Justice for their great prosecution work. I thank Philadelphia DA's office for their tremendous work and wish them well in their upcoming trial. I know they'll do an exceptional job. And I thank you all for being here. Thank you.
Just for the members of the press, just so you know, all the materials are available on our website. It should be connected with the press release if you're on our email list. It'll have the graphics, press release, charging information, and all of that. So if you have any questions, find one of us and we'll point them right direction. All good.
How many more days are we doing in the next month?
You're outside in our office. Used to come into press conferences for like years off.
Everything good? Everything good? Good. Can't complain. Take care.
What you doing here? I saw a lot of big